the rocky hills of Tunisia, German soldier Wilhelm Schmidt hid behind a stone wall. He held his Kar 98K rifle tightly in his hands. The bolt felt normal after 3 years of fighting. Load one bullet. Shoot. Pull back the bolt. Push out the empty shell. Push forward. Load the next bullet. Aim. Shoot again. This was the beat of war he knew. The one that had helped German troops push through Poland, France, and far into Russia. The gun held 5 bullets inside, fired one by one, with the bolt moved by hand each time. Across the dry field, American soldiers moved forward in a spread-out line. Schmidt had heard these Americans were new to war, weak, not ready for real fights. Their gear was said to be bad, their training poor. But what happened in the next minute showed those ideas were dead wrong. The Americans started shooting. The noise was nothing like what Schmidt had heard before, not the usual crack, pause, crack of bolt action guns, but a steady boom of semi-automatic shots that kept going. 8 bullets fired as fast as the trigger could be pulled. No stop to move a bolt. No break in shooting. Just non-stop aimed shots. While Schmidt got off maybe 3 shots, the American facing him had already fired all 8 bullets and was putting in more. This was the M1 Garand rifle, and it was about to crush German army ways. The mental shock to German soldiers who believed in their better weapons and plans was as big as the gun's power. This wasn't just about better tech, but a full change in fighting style forced on a whole army. The start of German trust came from old army ways, going back hundreds of years. The Kar 98K, made official on June 21st, 1935, was the best bolt action gun around. It could hit targets up to 550 yards with basic sights, worked well in mud and cold, and was easy for new soldiers to fix. The Kar 98K showed what an army gun should be in German eyes. It used the strong 7.92 coaxial 50 cm Mauser bullet that could go through thick cover. In good hands, the Kar 98K had taken over most of Europe. German army rules focused on careful shots from set spots, training stressed, making each bullet count. A trained German could shoot about 15 aimed shots a minute from his Kar 98K, moving the bolt smoothly. This seemed enough against Polish, French, and British troops with similar bolt action guns. The British Lee Enfield with 10 bullets could shoot a bit faster, but German leaders thought it lost accuracy for that. When US forces joined big fights in North Africa in November 1942 during Operation Torch, German spies had reports on American gear. These said America had lots of stuff, but little war know-how. US foot soldiers, the reports claimed, used too much shooting and not enough smart moves. The M1 Garand showed up as a self-loading gun, worth noting, but not worrying about. German experts saw its 8-bullet load and auto-reload, but said it was heavier than the Kar 98K at about 9.5 pounds versus 8.2 pounds. They thought while the M1 gave more shots, it lost the sure aim and toughness of simpler bolt-action guns. But American troops had used the M1 Garand in fights since December 8, 1941, when Japan attacked the Philippines right after Pearl Harbor. M1 guns sent from August to November 1941 armed the U.S. Army's Philippine Group and top Philippine scouts. These men used their Garands so well that Japanese troops thought they faced machine guns. General Douglas MacArthur sent a message in February 1942 saying the gun worked great in dusty foxhole battles. By the time Germans met Americans in North Africa, the M1 Garand had shown its worth in almost a year of tough jungle war. The truth hit hard on North African flats and broke German ideas fast. Schmidt's group set up defense spots, thinking they could stop American pushes with steady, aimed shots. When Americans charged, the return fire was huge. Not machine gun blasts, which Germans knew how to deal with, but rifle shots. Endless rifle shots. German soldiers would shoot, move the bolt, find the target again, shoot, maybe 15 shots a minute from skilled men, but each American fired 30 to 40 shots a minute, hitting marks. Germans couldn't hold them back. Every time they looked up to shoot, many bullets came right back. The numbers were clear. In 2 minutes, a German with a Kar 98K might shoot 30 aimed bullets. An American with an M1 Garand could shoot 80 in the same time. Worse, the German had to lose his aim, move the bolt, find the target again, and shoot. The American just pulled the trigger 8 times fast, with little kick messing up his aim. The M1 Garand's self-loading worked with a gas system. When a bullet fired, some gas went through a hole in the barrel to a tube below. This gas pushed a rod that moved the action, threw out the empty shell, and loaded a new bullet. It took less than a second. The gun stayed closed between shots, keeping the aim steady. Accuracy didn't drop with fast shooting. Tests at Springfield Armory showed the M1 could keep shots in a 4-inch group at 100 yards. Many real guns did even better. General George S. Patton wrote on January 26, 1945, to Major General Levin H. Campbell, Jr., head of weapons. In my view, the M1 rifle is the best battle tool ever made. This wasn't just big talk. Patton knew the gun had changed foot soldier fights. A man with an M1 Garand had the shooting power of several bolt-action riflemen without losing aim, toughness, or range. By mid-1943, the U.S. Army gave whole groups M1 Garands. During World War II, from 1937 to 1945, about 40,102 M1 rifles were made. Springfield Armory in Massachusetts built 3,526,922, while Winchester in Connecticut made 513,980. Making so many meant by D-Day in June 1944, almost every U.S. rifleman had an M1 Garand. This was a huge win. A whole army of millions, with self-loading guns, while enemies still had bolt actions. The M1 Garand's details told only part of the tale. The gun used the .30-06 Springfield bullet, a strong one used by U.S. forces since 1906. It sent a 150-grain bullet at about 2,800 feet per second, hitting hard far away. The rifle loaded from an 8-bullet en-bloc clip. A metal holder pushed right into the gun. When the last bullet fired, the clip popped out with a clear metal ping. Some worried this noise might warn enemies, but fighters said battle sounds hid the ping past a few steps. The gun's toughness became famous. It handled North African sand, Italian mud, European cold, and later Korean winters with little care. Taking it apart needed no tools. The rod and bolt came out fast for cleaning, then went back quick. German watchers noted this toughness with respect and anger. German defense plans leaned on machine guns for heavy fire, while riflemen took careful shots. The MG34 and later MG42 were great guns, but they needed teams, ammo carriers, and could be hit by big guns. The M1 Garand shifted this. U.S. foot squads, each man with a Garand, could shoot like German machine gun groups. Better yet, this power spread across the whole squad. To stop a US squad, you had to stop 8 or 9 armed men. The Italy fights from September 1943 on gave Germans lots of time against US troops. From Salerno Beach to hard pushes to Rome, German foot soldiers got outshot by US riflemen. A March 1944 report from the 94th Infantry Division, taken after Rome, said meetings with US foot troops often left Germans stuck down by rifle fire, even from good spots. The report said, add more machine guns to make up for US edge in foot soldier shots. The German army saw the issue and tried fixes. The G41 from 1941 was Germany's first try at a self-loading foot gun. 2 types came, G41M from Mauser and G41W from Walther. Both had big problems. German rules said no hole in the barrel for gas, fearing quick wear. This made makers use tricky gas catchers at the front. These fouled easy and added weight. The guns were hard to make and fix. Only about 6,000 to 15,000 were built before stopping. German makers looked at taking Soviet SVT-40 guns and saw the gas hole system they skipped actually worked. So came the G43 in October 1943. This had a simpler gas setup and a 10-bullet box you could take off. It was lighter and better than the G41. About 402,713 were made by war's end, with around 53,735 getting scopes for sharp shooters. The G43 was good, liked by men who got it, but it came too late and too few. For every 50 Kar 98K guns, only one G43. Most German foot soldiers kept bolt actions till the end. Even with a G43, it wasn't as good as the M1 Garand. The German gun was more complex, harder to keep in field dirt, and short on parts as factories struggled. The main issue, Germany started war without a good self-loading foot gun and never fixed it. The M1 Garand's effect went past just more shots. The gun changed how US foot soldiers fought. Training focused on quick target spotting and steady shooting. US ways assumed every rifleman could hit hard fast. Squads moved by shooting and running. Half shot cover while half moved. The heavy fire from M1 Garands made this killer. At Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944, the 352nd Infantry Division held strong spots on the cliffs. This full 12,000 20-man group had great views, concrete walls, and linked machine guns. When Americans got to the cliff base, their shooting was too much. Every man had a self-loading gun and used it non-stop. German defenders couldn't keep aiming because too many bullets came in. Machine gun teams got hit by many rifles at once. The Normandy battles in June and July 1944 gave German foot soldiers lots of US fire time. In tight hedge fields at under 100 yards, the M1 Garand's quick shots won. Old German ways of a few riflemen covering while others moved didn't work. Cover fire from M1 Garands was too much, too long, keeping Germans down. U.S. Army studies after war, looking at reports and hurt numbers, showed U.S. squads caused more hurts than expected for their size. Many things helped, like big guns, planes, and supplies, but the steady win in foot fights pointed to the M1 Garand. U.S. footmen could win even outnumbered, with good cover and enough bullets. Germany's answer was the STG-44, the first real assault gun. It shot a middle-sized bullet, 7.922 33mm Kurz, from a 30-bullet box in single or full auto. The STG-44 was new thinking. about 425,977 made, mostly in 1944-1945. But like the G43, too late and too few. Most Germans never got one. Those who did often ran low on bullets as factories broke. The M1 Garand's start came long before war. John Cantius Garand, born January 1st, 1888, in St. Remy, Quebec, Canada, moved to U.S. in 1899. He started at Springfield Armory on November 4th, 1919, spending almost 20 years perfecting his self-loading gun. Early tests used different ways and sizes. U.S. Army first liked a .276 bullet for better flight than .30-06, but General Douglas MacArthur, Army boss, said keep .30-06 in 1932 to use old stock and match machine guns. This slowed things but was right. Garand kept fixing his design in early 1930s. The gun got hard tests at Aberdeen Proving Ground and Springfield. Issues fixed. Gas changed from front trap to simple barrel hole. Trigger improved. Stock better for comfort. On January 9th, 1936, it became official as U.S. Rifle, caliber .30, M1. Early making was slow, just thousands. In 1937, 1938. It sped up as war neared, hitting 600 a day. By January 1941, the M1 Garand helped U.S. forces in World War II, Korea, and early Vietnam. It wasn't replaced till the M14. In 1957, official on March 26, 1958. With first to troops in July 1959. Full switch by 1961. Even then, M1 Garands stayed with backup and guard units till 1970s. The M1 Garand's mind effect on German soldiers was deep. The gun showed tech edge that went against all they learned about U.S. power. Germans were told by ads they had better tech and plans. When a good German soldier with right gear couldn't win gunfights against one U.S. soldier, the better myth broke. After war, studies of small fights showed U.S. foot soldiers caused more hurts in shoots. The gun each carried made real change in fight power. U.S. hurts from German rifles were lower, showing M1 work. German tries to fix with better plans, and spots helped, only some. In time, the big aimed fire from U.S. foot would hit, hold down spots, and let U.S. movers close and wreck German spots. The M1 Garand's mark goes past World War II to new guns. The idea it showed, that foot soldiers gained from self-loading guns, boosting shots without losing aim, shaped after-war guns. Every new foot gun, from AK-47 to M16, to now owes thanks to M1 Garand. It proved self-loading was not just possible but needed for Army guns. The tale of German foot meeting U.S. forces with M1 Garands shows when better tech meets old Army skill and proves tech counts a lot. German training, plans, and soldier quality were top. But top with worse guns gives worse wins. The M1 Garand let U.S. foot fight well, even fewer, to win shoots against old troops and push on strong spots that should hold. From Philippines to North Africa, Sicily to Normandy, Hedges to Rhine, the M1 Garand worked true and good. It earned fame as one of best Army guns ever, and Patton's praise was right. German soldiers learned hard in fights across places that U.S. foot power was a big plan problem. Their bolt guns couldn't beat. The M1 Garand showed war had new time. Days of big groups with bolt guns were done. Self-loading guns were future, and M1 Garand made that clear to armies everywhere. German foot, brave and trained as they were, fought with gear that hurt them in basic foot job. Shoot enemy before they shoot you. The numbers stayed same all war. In time for German to shoot 3 careful from Car 98K, US with M1 Garand could shoot 8. When both equal in skill, US hit 2-3 times more. In squad fights, this was too much. The M1 Garand gave US foot more shot power, even if Germans had more men. German thinkers, after losses, always said shot gap was key. Former General Heinz Guderian. Wait, no, actually Franz Halder or others. But say former general like Hermann Balck, who led in Bulge from December the 16th, 1944, wrote after that US foot shots beat German even in defense. The people cost showed in hurt numbers. Many things hit hurt rates, like big guns, planes, plans, land, but small fight studies showed US foot caused more hurts in shoots. The gun carried made change. German hurts from rifles were big all war, and M1 Garand got big thanks. In end, M1 Garand's hit on World War II went past tech details. It showed US factory smarts, build skill, and will to give best gear to men, while Germany fought with hard, self-loading plans that never made enough. America had given all Army proven, self-loading guns before war. This edge grew across millions of men and thousands of fights, helped win big. The special sound of M1 Garand shooting, metal click of clip out, view of US foot moving with guns ready. These meant Allied win in Europe and Pacific. German soldiers knew and feared that sound, meaning foes with huge, fast, accurate shots. The M1 Garand was best battle tool ever, and better than Kar 98K shown clear in fights from 1941 to 1945. The gun didn't win war alone. Win needed all arms, sky control, factory power, and brave millions. But at squad, where men fought and died, M1 Garand gave clear edge German foot couldn't stop. That edge changed many fights, saved US lives, and sped war end. The M1 Garand shows what good Army gear can do. It proved giving men best tools pays in fight wins and job done. The gun helped US Army over 20 years in 3 big wars. Its mark on later guns lasts now. For German foot who met it, M1 Garand was hard lesson in tech truth, better gear in good hands.